Hi, my name is Julio Rivera. I'm an activist, journalist, adventurer, veteran, television presenter, and businessman. I've covered many of the major historical events going on around the world over the past several years, and after watching regime changes, conflict, and historic elections globally, I've come to the conclusion that the most underreported crisis in the world today can be defined in only one word: malware. That's why I've decided to dedicate my time to educating people everywhere and exposing the dangers that exist on the devices that we've become tethered to and depend on for so many reasons in our day-to-day life. Welcome to This Week in Malware. On This Week in Malware, we'll be covering evil Lucifer malware targets Windows systems with cryptojacking and distributed denial of service attacks. Evilcorp, the hackers behind WastedLocker ransomware, are making extravagant ransom demands in the millions of dollars despite facing criminal charges. And the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, or IC3, has received 20,000 coronavirus-related cyber threats this year. A downright devilish, self-propagating new malware known as Lucifer is targeting Windows systems with cryptojacking and DDoS capabilities. Lucifer, which has recently been identified, initially tries to infect PCs by bombarding them with a multitude of exploits in an effort to capitalize on unpatched vulnerabilities. While there are patches for all the critical and high severity known bugs, the companies that have been targeted by Lucifer malware have not applied the fixes. According to researchers with Palo Alto Network's Unit 42 team, Lucifer is a new hybrid of cryptojacking and DDoS malware variant that leverages old vulnerabilities to spread and perform malicious activities on Windows platforms. After successfully exploiting these vulnerabilities, Lucifer then connects the hackers to the command and control server and executes arbitrary commands on the vulnerable device. These commands include performing a UDP, TCP, or HTTP denial of service or DOS attacks. Other commands allow Lucifer to drop a XMRig miner and launch cryptojacking attacks, as well as collecting interface info. Lucifer, a self-propagating threat. In addition to making brute force attempts to crack victims' credentials, Lucifer leverages exploitation for self-propagation. If the server message block protocol is open, Lucifer can execute several backdoors. These backdoors include the Eternal Romance, Eternal Blue, and Double Pulsar exploits. After these three exploits have been used, the Certutle utility is then leveraged to propagate Lucifer. Certutle.exe is a command line program which is installed as part of certificate services that can be used to dump and display certification authority configuration information, configure certificate services, back up and restore certification authority components, and verify certificates. Lucifer rears his evil head. Lucifer malware has been discovered in a series of recent attacks that are thought to be still ongoing. The first set of attacks occurred on June 10th of 2020. The attackers resumed the campaign the next day with an upgraded version of the malware. Researchers say these upgrades included the addition of an anti-sandbox capability, an anti-debugger technique, and new checks for device drivers, DLLs, and virtual devices. This added functionality shows that Lucifer is growing in sophistication according to researchers. Experts say companies can protect themselves with simple security measures such as checking for updates, applying patches, and strengthening passwords. One of the biggest malware operations on the internet, Evilcorp, has returned after several of its members were charged by the US Department of Justice in December of 2019. The history of Evilcorp. Evilcorp, which is known alternately as the Dridex Gang, has been on the scene since 2007. Their earliest efforts were focused on attacks involving the Crydex banking Trojan. That malware strain later evolved into the Dridex banking Trojan and later into the Dridex multi-purpose malware toolkit. Over the years, Evilcorp became one of the largest malware and spam botnets on the internet via its Dridex operation. The group distributed their own malware, but also distributed malware for other criminal groups. The group also dipped their toes into ransomware distribution by spreading Locky ransomware to home consumers throughout 2016. As the ransomware market began to shift into focusing on enterprise targets, Evilcorp adapted and created a new custom ransomware named BitPaymer. The group used the computers they infected with the Dridex malware to look for corporate networks and then deployed BitPaymer on the largest enterprise targets they can identify. Evilcorp engaged in this activity involving BitPaymer starting in 2017 until 2019, when the US Justice Department stepped in and charged several of the gang members with cybercrimes. Evilcorp's post-indictment activities. After the DOJ's charges were filed in 2019, the group went silent for a full month until January 2020, when they launched a small number of malware campaigns, usually for other hackers, until March of 2020, when they went again silent for a brief period. They would return, however, and when they did, they returned with a new tool called WastedLocker. Evilcorp replaces BitPaymer with WastedLocker. Evilcorp's new infection of choice is a ransomware called WastedLocker. The name is based on the file extension it adds to encrypted files, usually consisting of the victim's name and the string wasted. Security researchers say that an analysis of this new ransomware has revealed little code reuse or similarities to BitPaymer. However, similarities are still seen in the ransom note text. Despite the best efforts of the US Department of Justice to contain Evilcorp, the group continues to initiate attacks and has been known to make demands as large as $10 million against some of their higher profile victims. In June of 2020, an FBI official said that the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, or IC3, has so far received 20,000 coronavirus-related cyber threat reports, as officials warned of growing cyber threats related to COVID-19 vaccine research. Tanya Ugaret, Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI's Cyber Division, said that the IC3 was tracking a massive spike in hackers using the coronavirus pandemic to target Americans. Already, here we are in the first or second week of June. The IC3 has already had as many complaints up to this point as they did for all of 2019, and that is for all types of internet fraud, Ugaret said. She also said that the number of complaints attached to coronavirus-related criminal activity, such as scams, malicious emails, or fraud, the FBI IC3 has received was at least 20,000 complaints. This is a continuation of a trend in increasing cyber attacks during both the coronavirus pandemic and the ongoing protests around the deaths of George Floyd and Rayshard Brooks. Agencies including the World Health Organization and the Department of Health and Human Services have also been targeted, and coronavirus-related scams have even targeted federal relief funds. In April of 2020, Ugaret announced that the IC3 was receiving between 3,000 and 4,000 cybersecurity complaints per day, which was an increase from the typical 1,000 complaints per day that the IC3 saw prior to the pandemic. The FBI also warns that nation-states are continuing to target the healthcare sector and laboratories conducting research into COVID-19 treatments and vaccines. We have also seen other actors, including nation-states, scanning for vulnerabilities, conducting reconnaissance, conducting intrusions, and attempting to steal data from those US universities and research institutes that are really focused on trying to deliver the research in response to the pandemic, Ugaret said. The US government also warned in May of 2020 that Chinese government-backed hackers were attempting to steal coronavirus-related research from US institutions. The director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, Christopher Krebs, said earlier this month that he expects every intelligence service to target COVID-19 related research. Although America, and really the rest of the world, is beginning to heal and establish a new normal post-coronavirus, the lingering effects of both the actual disease and the related cyber threats are sure to be with us for at least the immediate future. You know, as I think about the dangers that exist online, not unlike the subjects we learned about in this video, I know I feel a lot better having an anti-malware program like Spy Hunter installed in my PC, providing me the protection I need against malware, and I think you should too. Spy Hunter 5's strongest features are found in its malware repair capabilities. Spy Hunter 5's remediation algorithms dive deep into your system to remove and address complex malware issues affecting PCs today. While many anti-malware products only flag and quarantine malware and ultimately fail to fully remediate the root problem, the Spy Hunter 5 remediation algorithm detects, quarantines, and programmatically repairs malware problems on your PC. Spy Hunter 5 is a powerful PC utility that repairs malware threats in many cases where other competing anti-malware and antivirus programs may fail. To detect and remove malware for free, go to enigmasoftware.com and download Spy Hunter today. Thanks for watching.